My name is Mary Grantham O'Brien. I have a PhD in German linguistics with a minor in applied linguistics, and I teach German language courses primarily for students of advanced proficiency, and I also teach graduate courses in applied linguistics, second language acquisition, and language pedagogy. There's an area of research called the economics of language. It's a relatively new area of research that looks at the extent to which language and economy are tied up with one another. And research in that area shows some true benefits of speaking more than one language. Within Canada, there really are benefits for knowing both of our official languages. And research has demonstrated that individuals who are able to use both languages proficiently actually are able to find jobs, more jobs in both the private and public sectors, and that they tend to earn more than those who don't speak both of our official languages. Knowing another language also opens up a number of doors. So those people who know another language tend to be hired in those businesses that have international opportunities. So they can work either internationally and travel to other countries to engage in business opportunities with people who are in that other language. But also research has demonstrated that international companies tend to set up, in places like Canada, for example, and they really appreciate hiring those people on the ground in Canada who are able to speak that language. Potential employers also have come to realize the benefits of having employees who speak another language. And research has shown that those people who do speak another language tend to earn more than those who do not. But I think that we need to do broader research on language pairings and the extent to which actually knowing a variety of languages may be beneficial across a variety of types of jobs. So when it comes down to it, many people, many stakeholders think we really need to invest in math and science, for example, and many of them tend to look at languages as kind of extra. And I think ultimately, if we can come to meetings with stakeholders to say, you know what? Not only are there these economic benefits when our language learners go on to the job market, but actually, when our language learners are engaged in these, kind of hardcore subjects like math and science, they actually tend to do better in those courses because they tend to have these enhanced problem-solving skills. People who are considering learning a language should know that indeed there are benefits that come from knowing another language when one goes on the job market. That said, it's really important to remember that language learning doesn't happen overnight. So if our ultimate goal as language learners is to earn more money, then we need to look at the long game. As we continue on in our language learning journeys, there are going to be things that are hard and they're going to continue to remain difficult over our language learning careers. But as one becomes more proficient, I would say that there are probably also more opportunities actually that open up in terms of being able to use that language, for example, to travel internationally or to work for another company that come only from being able to use the language proficiently, but being able to use it in a culturally appropriate way. So ultimately, those benefits that come from language learning are not just linguistic, but they are certainly, when people are on the job market, they're not hired only because they know the language. They're also hired because they have probably, we hope, this advanced intercultural capacity. And that is an ability to use language to resolve conflict and to really appreciate differences among people. And so ultimately, it's not just about the language itself. If we really want to prepare our learners to experience these economic benefits that come from learning a language, we need to prepare them to use the language in a range of situations. I think that as we're preparing our lessons, for example, and plan to work with students from day to day, it's really important to remember that while it matters that we teach them good language and that we correct their grammatical mistakes, students ultimately probably aren't going to remember all of that, right? But what they will remember, especially when they go out onto the job market, are those cultural pieces that are going to enable them to interact with various speakers, whether native or non-native speakers, of the language that they're learning.